Hello everyone, this is your friend Shripal Gandhi, and I'm back again. We've been learning so much. In fact, we have got some superpowers also, right? Superpowers, we learned earlier that communication is our superpower. Today, we are going to learn how we can have one more superpower, which is the superpower of decision making. That is today's topic. Are you all excited? I am, because of many reasons, because it is not only a very profound topic. When I reflected this upon my life, I realized that my life changed completely because of the decisions I executed. Decisions to study in Mumbai and leave my hometown Ichilkaranji. Decision to come back to India when I was working and having a good life in US as a scientist and starting a business here in India. Decision to decide to reverse my cholesterol completely from a very high level of 357, bring it back within the normal range without taking any additional pill. Decisions made very important difference in my life. And I'm sure if all of you, my dear friends, if you take a moment and just reflect on this, I'm sure you will also realize that your life is what it is today because of the decisions you executed. Decision to choose your friends. You remember we learned in the champ session what kind of friend we should have? What kind of decisions do you execute? What kind of decisions you executed when it comes to selecting a sports, focusing on certain subjects, developing your hobbies, taking care of your health, deciding your future, choosing a college. So many, we all keep taking so many decisions. But this particular discussion for today is for the big decisions in life. Wherever we struggle, sometimes we have little friction, sometimes we get confused. Today, we are going to learn something very, very powerful, which is about how to be master at decision making. Your school, if the founders of your school, the principal, the teachers, even they have taken the decision to give us this chance to be with you throughout these 7 sessions of Keep Moving movement. And a huge gratitude to all of them because of this opportunity, because of which you and I are together. Decision makes a tremendous difference. The fact that your camera is on is also the decision you have taken. And you know, some of you, the camera is not on, that is also the decision you have taken, isn't it? Decision has very powerful role in our life. Because our today's decision will define our future. And our yesterday's decision have defined our today. So if we want to have an incredible future, then we have to be master at taking incredible decisions today, in present. Let's discuss what next. Let's discuss how do we master all this. Because wouldn't you agree, during this COVID time, this is a proof that life is full of twists and turns. You never know what's going to happen, right? As Tom Hanks says in that famous movie, Forrest Gump, life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. Life is full of twists and turns. But interestingly, listen to me. Don't you think only when the roads are having twists and turns that makes a skillful driver? Or you think a flat road, a straight road can make a skillful driver? No, right? No, Shripal. It has to be twist and turn. That's where you really learn the nitty-gritties of life, and that's where the life becomes adventure. That's where the life becomes challenging, and that gets the best out of us. And that's how we all evolve in our life. No better example than COVID. Nobody would have imagined that this world will be what it is today because of COVID. Life is full of twists and turns. Because sometimes, it's like this. We all love flowers, but they still fall down from trees, from the branches. We all love them. And we don't like weeds, but they keep growing. So sometimes in life, things which we don't want may grow. And in those moments, in those situations, if we know how to master that situation, how to handle that situation, how to address those issues, we can live an incredible life. And you know what? Today we are going to discuss exactly that. Because we all know that life is full of twists and turns. We all also know now that in order to master those situations which are full of twists and turns, we need to master the art of handling these situations and issues in life. How do we handle these issues and situations in life is what we are going to discuss today. So let's explore together, because what we are going to discuss is a very, very powerful 5-step decision making framework which you can apply to any aspects of your life, any aspects where you are struggling. We all keep taking decisions every single day, right? Imagine that there is a wallet which is fallen on the ground, and during the recess you find it, but your friends ask you not to give it back. What decision do you execute in that moment? Your parents promised you to go for a vacation, but during COVID times they couldn't take you out as promised earlier. So now there is no vacation, you are pretty much at home. What kind of decision do you take in that moment when you realize that there is no vacation? अभी 9th standard 10th standard में बहुत पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, right? All of you are studying very hard. These are some of the most important years of our life. What after 10th? What after 9th? What after 10th? What streams of disciplines I should go and take admission, whether it is science or commerce or arts or something else? What kind of decision shall I make? होता है ना दिमाग में, आता है ना ये चीज़, कैसे करूँ, कैसे हैंडल करूँ, क्या डिसीजन लूँ, किसको पूछूँ, so that my decision is right. And you will be very glad today we are going to discuss exactly this. How to make decision in such situations. Step number 1, identify and state the issue. What are you trying to figure out? Because only when once you define the problem, then only you can find the solution, right? So if you want to find the best solution, then you need to first identify the problem and state it properly. Because the direction of intelligence you give, that's the way you define the problem. Shripal, what are you trying to say? Listen to me very carefully. You know, once there was this Apollo mission, which all of you know, and NASA wanted to land human on moon first time in the world, first time in the history. And during this time, they wanted a pen which can work against the gravity in zero gravity or anti-gravity case. So NASA spent millions of dollars in researching and innovating what kind of pen they should develop. And finally, they came up with the option that this is the pen which can work after having spent millions of dollars and a lot of time, that this pen can work in zero gravity or anti-gravity. This pen can work on any surface. This pen can work on any temperature, whether it is -50, -100 or +50, +100 as well, and can work on any surface. Can work on flat surface, can also work upside down, because if I hold my pen upside down, it doesn't work, right? Try doing it. देखो देखो करके नहीं आएगा. But NASA developed this pen which can work like this upside down and gave it to astronauts. Russia got to know about it. Russia did something very interesting. And you will be surprised what the option they came up with. They said, they spent millions of dollars, lot of time to develop this anti-gravity pen. But what if we use our brain and just define the problem in a way that we find the solution immediately? And you know what they come up with? Pencil. Yes. Yes, Sripal, this is pencil. They came up with pencil because it can work anytime, anywhere, upside down, downside up, doesn't really matter. How much investment? Zero investment. How much time? Zero time. Do you know why? Listen to me very, very carefully. The way NASA or American defined this problem as what kind of pen shall we innovate which can work in the space during this Apollo mission? That is the problem. That's how American defined. How Russian defined? Russian said, what can we have which can work in the space to write? What can we have which can work in the space to write? Now do you see the difference? Their focus was on developing a pen. Russians' focus was having something, finding something which just work in this space. Same problem, but defined in a very different way. One ended up spending millions of dollars and a lot of time. Another just came up with a solution so fast. Just because the way they define the problem properly. Very, very important. It is so powerful. And same is the case in our life. Let's say some of you or some of us are very weak in certain subjects. Let's say it is maths. Now, do we brood on it and say that, no, maths is not something naturally nahi aata hai. मैं ना maths के लिए बना नहीं है. What do you say? Or, I am just not good for anything. Or do you say, same problem, eh? Here also the issue is no excellence in maths. Same problem now if I define it this way. What do I need to do to excel in maths and score 95%? Same problem. Defined it in a different way. Now all of a sudden, now my mind starts to race and find out so many solutions. Oh, I need to be in a circle of friends who are very good in maths. I need to talk to these teachers. I need to pay more attention when I'm in the class. I need to go back and do homework. Maybe I should do preview before I come to the class of the session what my teacher is going to teach, especially when it comes to maths. You see, all of a sudden the mind starts to work in many directions and find solutions. Another example. Let's say some of us are very, very shy. These days new lingo is, new terminology is social anxiety, which means they are just not very comfortable in going and talking to people, because they feel that they will be judged. If this is the issue, do you say, nahi yaar, because mere family mein na sab aise hi hai? Do you say because I never got exposure? Or do you say because the place I come from, everybody is like this? Or you say, what can I do in next 5 months to be very extrovert? Same problem, defined in it in different ways. Another one is, let's say some of us are very healthy, fat, obese. Some of us may be teased, hey Motu. Now, one problem is this, that yes, because this is what it is, maybe it is hereditary, I can't lose weight so easily, because of the diet I have, I can't give up on my food because I love food so much. Same problem, this is one kind of response. Another kind of response, when you direct your intellect in these directions, if my body percentage today is 40% body fat percentage, if I want to bring it down to 25% in next 6 months, what does it take? Now all of a sudden you have a complete blueprint in front of you. Okay, these are the kind of exercises you should do, these are the kind of diet you should have, and yes, for sure you can drop your body fat from 40% to 25% in less than 6 months, and many people have done it. Just the way you define the problem makes so much difference. Some of us may be very shy when it comes to public speaking, very shy when it comes to going on dais and talking to people. What do you do? Hey, no, I'm very shy, I have never given any public speech. What do you do in that case? Or you define the problem that what does it take to become an ace public speaker? I have next 6 months and I'm willing to give myself in totality. Same problem, defined it in a different way, defined properly. Now all of a sudden you start finding many solutions. So step number 1, identify and state the problem properly. Step number 2, research to understand the problem better from all angles. Now from all angles is very important, because sometimes when we look at the problem in a certain way, in a certain angle, in a certain perspective, maybe there are so many options possible for the same situation, for the same issues. We need to evaluate all possible options. That is what it means. Understand the issue from all different angles. I'll give you a very easy example. So look at your screen, right? What do you see on your screen right now? A letter M. When it is presented like that, you see letter M. Now, if this letter M is just tilted a bit, now you see, oh my God, now this is not letter M, this looks like E, letter E, alphabet E. Same E, now I again tilt it, and now I see letter W. And the same W, now I tilt it by another 90 degree. Now what do I see? Looks like number 3. Drawing to same tha. I showed you only one, but 4 different angle to look at same letter gave 4 different answers, and all of the 4 answers are right. Same is the case with our life. Imagine, अपने क्लास में अचानक से अभी बोलते श्रीपाल, principal is coming, she has just announced and there is a surprise test right now in the class. क्या हाल होएगा तुम्हारा? Some of you may be thinking, अरे वाह अच्छा है, अभी कल ही पढ़ा था तो I am all ready. Some of you may be thinking, नहीं अभी नहीं चाहिए surprise test. Some of you would be saying, नहीं अभी तो चांस ही नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं है, whatever comes अभी तो नहीं होना चाहिए. Same issue, but different ways to look at things. Another example. On your screen now, what do you see? It is father and daughter. Father is on the phone and he is at home. The daughter is not very happy. You can see on her face, right? She is not very happy and she is looking at the father and, as if father just doesn't love me. He has no time for me. All the time, he is on the phone. That's what she is thinking and processing in her mind. The father on the other side, he is on the phone. At home though, he is thinking that let me work and earn enough so that I can give the best education to my children and we can have a smooth life. Now, do you see the difference? Different perspective, issue is the same. Not able to give time, but both of them have a very different perspective. Now, what happens when you start understanding each other's perspective and understand the issue from all angles, solution emerge. One more example. Look at this girl. Her mom is very, very upset because she doesn't like the circle of friends her daughter has. So mom is saying that this is not good for you because she is concerned. What does daughter feel for the same? Her daughter feels, oh, no, now I am grown up and why my mom doesn't understand me? She doesn't trust me. Issue is what? She is concerned, that's all. And she should be in the hands of good friends. If they understand each other's perspective, there will be a far deeper conversation and solution will emerge like this. So deep, no? चलो एक जबरदस्त स्टोरी बताता हूँ आपको मैं. Let me tell you a very, very interesting story. So there was this old man in his village. He was almost at 93. And the secret to his health was the sleep. Because they say food and sleep are very, very important in life. You should never sacrifice on these two. And every single day he would take an afternoon nap. And in every village, in every town, in every city, there are these naughty kids. So there were these naughty students who knew that this old man sleeps in the afternoon, and just to trouble him, they played exactly outside his house, just next to his door. They were playing cricket. Imagine a village, old man's house, very old, loves to sleep because he feels that sleep is so important for his health and well-being. Because these young kids wants to trouble the old man, they just decide to play outside his house, next to his door. And they start playing cricket and start yelling, shouting, jor jor se. And the old man wakes up, opens the door, comes out, calls a few of them. Come, beta. Beta, I am at this age of 93. For me, sleep is so dear right now and it's very important for my health. Would it be possible for you to play during all the time or maybe play somewhere else so that at least I can take my afternoon nap because it is so important for my health? Is that okay with you? He asked. What are you talking? These kids, they just laugh like this and go back and again they start hitting and shouting and yelling and having a lot of laughter. They start playing their own cricket. The whole man is now really thinking what to do because for him this sleep is so crucial. क्या करे अभी? कौन सा decision ले? But old man, the wise man, I mean these people are, old men are very wise people. So he gets an idea. Acha. So next day again these people come to play cricket exactly same time when it is his time to sleep, right? They start playing cricket. So when they start playing cricket, in the middle of the cricket while they are playing, he calls all of them. Hey, come. He said, I was sitting outside the house and what a lovely match. It is a sight to see you play. Let me give you 50 rupees because look, if I were to be entertained and if I were to call a professional team, I will have to give in thousands and lakhs. But यहाँ पे मेरा 50 रुपए में काम हो रहा है, right? Take these 50 rupees. Oh, these kids, they feel, wow, कुछ नहीं करके, 50 rupees मिला, very good. They go, they play. Next week, again they start playing, shouting, yelling, disturbing his old man's sleep. Old man comes out, sits as if he is on a Wankhede stadium to look at the match. And now he says, after the match is over, he calls all of them. Anyway, he was not able to sleep, so he just came out and he was sitting like an audience and watching their match. Called all of them, hey, come. Said, what? He said, oh, क्या खेलते हो यार तुम लोग? मजा आ गया आज तो देख के, एकदम तबीयत खुश हो गया. I am so happy. There is no way I can get this kind of entertainment in a town, in a small village like this, that too just outside my house. आज मैं खुश है. Take this 100 rupees. These kids are so happy. अरे ये तो मजा आ गया. इनको ट्रबल भी हो रहा है, अभी 100 rupees भी मिल रहा है, क्रिकेट खेलने के लिए भी मिल रहा है. What better you can ask in life? Again next week, these kids come and start playing. Again yelling, shouting outside his house exactly during the afternoon time when it is time for him to take a nap. Now, old man gets an idea. He goes outside again. This time he is wearing glares, old white color hat and sitting like as if he is a coach watching the match with a lot of curiosity, what's going to happen now. And he says, he calls all of them after the match. He said, what a spectacular match it was. Even if I go to a stadium, I wouldn't get to see this kind of match, this kind of passion the way you guys played. I am incredibly thrilled today and let me give you something which is coming from the bottom of my heart. Take this 500 rupees. And these children are like on top of the world. 500 rupees, that too for a cricket in a village. Especially when you want to trouble the old man. Now what happened? They take this, they go away. Next week again they come to play. This is very interesting, and now listen to this. Next week they again come to play. So again the old man sits there, observes, watches after the match. He calls now out of anticipation because ये चालू हुआ था 50 rupees से 50 to 100, 100 to 500. Now some of these children, in fact they started discussing within their group. आज तो है ना uncle 1000 रुपए देंगे because he is pretty much doubling or tripling every time. So this time he calls all of them. He said, what a match. I really loved it. Yeah. And take this, today I have 50 rupees. Because I just cannot get to see this kind of cricket in this village. This level of, it is as if watching an international cricket here. The way you guys play, the way you guys bat, the way you guys field, it is incredible. And please, keep coming every day and come during this time only, because this time I have lot of time. I can come and watch your match happily, because for me this entertainment is so cheap, right? I can't get this at like 50 or 100 rupees anywhere else. Take this 50 rupees. Now these children, they got angry. They were arrogant kids. And they said, हम क्या फोकट में खेलेंगे क्या? 50 रुपया दे रहे हो आप सिर्फ, 50 rupees, and you want all of us to play, be here for a few hours. What are you talking, uncle? He said, no, we're not gonna play. He said, no, please come and play every single day. और सब लोग साथ में लेके आना, इधर ही खेलना, दोपहर को ही खेलना, exactly same time में, और इसी जुनून, इसी passion के साथ खेलना. And these kids are like, there is no way. As if this arrogant kids, the way they behave, they talk, go to hell. We're not gonna come, we're not gonna play. Hey, and he tells all of them, there is one leader, he tells all of them, hey, let's go and play to another ground. There is another ground in the same village. And they walked away. What is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is, if the old man was only requesting them, would have continued to request them, don't play, don't play, don't play, don't play, he would have been miserable. The students would have still played there, because these were arrogant kids. They wanted to see him punished, and they drew a lot of pleasure by seeing him punished, by losing his sleep. They drew a lot of pleasure. But he was a wise man. He said, इनको उनके angle से सोचते. Because now we understood, right? Step number 1, identified the problem. He identified the problem. Step number 2, research to understand the problem better from all angles. Not only from his angle, from students' angle, from those kids' angles as well. So he realized they are arrogant kids. They want me to see punished. And that's what really gives them a lot of joy. And that's where he comes up with this idea. And finally, what is the result? They walked away. Old man gets back his time, his afternoon nap, his siesta time. Very, very important, my dear friends, to understand the problem from all different angles. So we learned step number 1, identify and state the issue clearly. Very important. Step number 2, research to understand the issue better from all different angles. And step number 3 is very interesting. Brainstorm for possible strategies and identify solutions. Sometimes when we are caught up in the beat of the moment, we believe there is only one way to solve a problem. However, usually there are multiple options to the same problem. Give yourself some time to think about possible ways you can handle the situation. Come up with multiple solutions to choose from. Sometimes we need to see things from a distance. If I have this remote in my hand, and if I take it too close, can I see it? Can I see any of you? Can you see me? Can you see my eyes? No. But now if I take this little far, I can use the same remote and operate the world. Isn't it incredible? Sometimes when things are too close to us, we get too emotional. Another example. If I have these 2 coins, if I take them too close to my eyes, will I be able to see? Absolutely not. But there is one sun which is also circular in nature, and it lights the entire world. Distance. So sometimes, same is the case in our life. We have to distance ourselves from the issue and evaluate it independently from all different angles. But Shripal, tell me, whom do I brainstorm with? I understand now, we should brainstorm, but whom do I brainstorm with? Where do I go? I will tell you. You can go, ideally, if you have any issues, go through somebody who has already gone through the issues. It could be your cousins who are 3, 4, 5 years older than you. It could be your seniors in school, 3 years, 4 years seniors. or it could be your friends, it could be your peers, it could be your teachers, or it could be your principals, or it could be even your parents. In my case, when I was in 12th standard and when I was thinking of going what to do next, which college to choose, I went around and I brainstormed this with so many people. I asked my bhaiya, my cousin, because he was already doing engineering. I said, for chemical engineering, which is the best college? So he talked about UD City. Then I went to my professor who used to teach me chemistry, and I used to love chemistry. Kavatge sir, and I also asked him, sir, I want to do this. What do you think? He also said the same thing. If you love chemistry and if you want to specialize in chemical engineering, then go to UDCD. This is the best college. Like that, I went around many people. I went to many people and asked. I also asked I found out who are the people who are studying right now in that college. And I also found out who are the people who graduated from that college and are working or doing business in India and also in US. And when I had gathered all the data, then I identified the solution and I chose and decided to apply for UDCT. Very, very interesting thing I want to share now. In 1947, when India had just gotten independence, our first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, was leading the country, and there was a massive riot, especially in two cities. One was Kolkata, another one was Delhi. And he was not able to understand now how do we handle this riot, because one people, two people, 10 people, it is very easy. You can use forces, but when the entire mob revolts, then it is very, very difficult to manage that situation. And he was not able to find any solution and decide what to do now. What did he do? He went to Lord Mountbatten and he told Mountbatten that, sir, this is the situation. There are massive riots in Kolkata and Delhi. Can you please help me? What shall I do? He laughed like this. He said, what are you talking? You are the guys who asked us to leave. You are the guys who asked us to leave India, and you told us, go back, Britishers. And now again for your own problem you are coming and asking me what you should do? Why shall I tell you? Why? Now, Pandit Nehru was a very wise and a smart man. He answered, look at it, the way he answered and the communication he had. He said, sir, my entire youth went into jails. You put me behind the bars most of the time during my youth. So I got very little chance to learn about leadership and administrations during that time. Hence, I am not able to find any solution, and hence it is my right to ask you to help me how I should handle this situation. Mountbatten said, oh, that's interesting, you got a point. And then he proposed the solution. He said, do something, what I am telling you right now. Send all your forces to Delhi. And he said, what? All the forces? He was aghast. He said, how can I send? There are people who are dying every single day. Thousands of people are dying in streets of Kolkata and Delhi because of the riot. And you are telling, send all the forces to Delhi. What will it happen to my people in Kolkata? Should they just die? He said, no, wait. You are asking me, right? Then listen to me. That's how Mountbatten replied. He said, I also have a solution for Kolkata. Send all your forces to Delhi and then send a forceful personality to Kolkata. The forceful and the peaceful personality that time was none other than our own father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. So he sent Mahatma Gandhi to Kolkata, sent all the forces to Delhi. And when Mahatma Gandhi, the moment he landed, the moment he arrived on the railway station in Howrah, which is the railway station in Kolkata, it's called Howrah, there were thousands and thousands of people gathering on the streets of Kolkata to welcome him. Both the sides of the people who were fighting for this, during this riot, both the parties wanted to welcome Gandhi during that time. So the moment Mahatma Gandhi got down from the train, everybody welcomed And that's where Mahatma Gandhi replies. He says, let's go and have prayers. And this is where he sings this. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे वैष्णव जन तो. He says we are brothers and sisters. Why should we fight? And why should we fight with weapons and the four arms? He said, first of all, let's drop all the arms. We will find what is the best possible solution. We will come up with some solid resolution plan. But first of all, let's drop all the arms. And Gandhi being Gandhi, and the respect everybody had for Gandhi, they listened to him. And my dear friend, you will be surprised. After the moment the Gandhi landed in Kolkata, he arrived in Kolkata, not a single death happened because of riots. And what happened in Delhi? They sent all the forces. It took a little while to control Delhi, but finally they were able to control the riots in Delhi too. Nehru could not understand how Mountbatten took this decision. So he went back to him one day after the riot also. He said, thank you so much. Because of your suggestions, because of the way you guided me, because we brainstorm ideas, you gave this solution. But tell me one thing, why did you ask me to send all the forces to Delhi and send Gandhi to Kolkata, and why not other way around? Mountbatten was a very smart man. He says, Kolkata is a very unplanned city and Delhi is a very planned city. If you send all the forces to Kolkata, you will not be able to control the mob and control the riots. And then Pandit Nehru understood the depth. Because when you want to take smart decisions, you need to have facts and data. Then only you can execute. Your decision should not be born out of judgments, but your decision should be born out of science and data and facts and figures. Interesting, isn't it? The power of brainstorming possible strategies and then identifying the solutions. Let me tell you one more example about the personality which I am sure all of you know, our dear Sachin Tendulkar. So when he was very young, he was practicing in Shivaji Park in the Ramakant Achrekar's camp, and these guys were, these kids were practicing in the nets. And there was a rule which Ramakant Achrekar's camp had, which was you cannot leave the crease, you cannot leave the nets unless you are out. And Tendulkar used to bat and nobody could take his wicket. For such a long time he would keep on playing, so much so that other nets, people will go off, they will fold the net and Tendulkar is still batting. So one day, other people who wanted to be a part of the Ramakant Achrekar's camp, who was his coach, the parent approached, they gang together, they approached Achrekar and said, this is just not fair, my children are not getting any chance. All the time this boy is playing cricket and he's just not getting out. So what shall I do? Shall we just keep sitting outside all the time? Ramakant Achrekar could not understand what to do now. So he says, but the rule is rule. So he called Tendulkar, come here. He said, hey, maybe you should allow them to play. But Tendulkar being Tendulkar, he says, but sir, you only said this is the rule of the game. Unless you are out, you cannot leave nets. He said, ye baat bhi barabar hai. Rule to apan nahi bana hai. How can we break the rule? But Ramakant Achrekar again was a wise man. He said, hey, what are you wearing? Look at your clothes. Because he had so much pressure from parents too. So look at your clothes, they are all so dirty. You should not be playing right now. Go home, wash your clothes, and when you are ready, come. Everybody, including the parents, so Tendulkar leaves, other people gets a chance to bat in that net, and the practice starts. And you know what happened after that? Because sir also felt, everybody felt that this boy would go home, wash his clothes, next day come back. In 30 minutes, Tendulkar came back in the net. He went back to the washroom, removed his clothes, washed his clothes, wore the wet clothes. With those wet clothes, he came back to the net to practice. Because that kind of passion, that kind of junoon tha. And that's what really creates these legendary personalities. He didn't want to give up. He said, Sir ne bola hai, आउट नहीं होएगा तो विकेट नहीं जाएगा. सर ने बोला है, my clothes are dirty. Now my clothes are not dirty. But sir never said that don't wear wet clothes, right? He is back. My dear friends, do we look at problems like this? Or do we accept them so easily कि नहीं सर ने तो बोला अभी क्या करूँ, सुनता ही नहीं मेरा कोई, घर पे जाता हूँ मस्त सो जाता हूँ खा पी के. और do we say नहीं खेलना है ना मेरे को, I want to make my life count. I want to be in that 5%. 5% of the people have the power to change their life because they set the goals which others don't do. Only 5% people in the world set goals which have power to change their lives. 95% of the people don't even set any goals like this. They are happy with what they have. 5% of the people decide to set that kind of goal. The decision is very important. That is the power of choice, the power of decision. And same is the case here. Tendulkar refused to give up and he was back to bat again. Why am I sharing this? Both in cases of riots, Gandhi-Nehru example, and even in case of Tendulkar. They brainstormed with themselves and with others and found solutions. It is not about going to others. We should be shameless to go to others and ask for help, ask for any solutions. It doesn't make us less intelligent when you go to higher intelligence to ask for solutions which you cannot understand, which you cannot find on your own. In fact, it makes you more intelligent. It makes you smarter. Brainstorm to find possible solutions and then identify the solution. Step number 4. Test the solutions and evolve your solutions. Welcoming failure as a learning tool. Always look at failure as a friend because failure teaches you so many things and that's where you really grow and you evolve. You can look at, because now you brainstorm things, you identified the solutions, so you need to test how it works, right? So test, learn, evolve. Test, learn, evolve, and that's a cyclic process. Earlier, there were birds who would take message from one place to another, right? Parinde. एक जगह से दूसरे जगह पे जाके मैसेज देते थे. फिर आए घोड़े, right? Horses. Then things evolved further. Then came cars, then came bullock cart, then came cars, then came for communication those big fat phones like cordless phones, landline phones, cordless phone, trunk call phones. Then came feature phones, small phones. And then in last 10 years, world is completely changed because of the smartphones. And who knows what, maybe in next few years, there will be something like you think in your mind that, hey, call Shripal and it will dial Shripal immediately. Just like the way currently, Siri or Google Voice or Amazon Alexa does it. Things are changing so fast because everybody is testing and evolving. What is next? How can I get better? Failure is a friend. There is so much to learn from failure. That's why they say, fail faster. Listen to me very carefully. Fail faster to succeed sooner. Fail faster to succeed sooner. Alexander Graham Bell, you can see on your screen, right? First time when he invented the phone, do you know there was only one-way voice? So he could not hear what the other way is saying. There was only one-way voice. It was not two-way voice communication. And even Henry Ford, when he invented the first ever four-wheeler automobile vehicle, four-wheeler car, there was no reverse gear in the car. So you can go only forward, पीछे नहीं आएगा, पकड़ के धक्का मारना पड़ेगा, right? Failure होता है. But what is more important is, can we learn it so fast? Can we learn from it, improvise it, immediately implement it? Next version, then they added reverse gear. Then the gears only went. Now it is all about automatic gears when it comes to four-wheelers. Things are changing so fast because we are testing, we are learning, we are evolving. Very, very powerful. So we learned these 4 steps. Now there is a homework for you. If I were to ask you, when you brainstorm, when you really test and evolve and find better solutions, if I were to ask you why a particular friend has got more friends or better friends, can you tell me some examples, some solutions, some reasons why? Is it because he is very honest? Is it because he is very peaceful? Okay, काम करते. Now let me rephrase. You remember point number one, step number one, identify the problem and state clearly. Double underline, inverted comma, bold. So now let me rephrase. What does it take to have better friends? What qualities are required to have better friends? What do you need to do to have more and better friends? I should be happy. I should always help people. I should add value in their life. I should be very honest. सोचो सोचो और क्या कर सकते? What can you do to have more and better friends? Now you can come up with so many examples, right? You can write in the chat box, you can write on the YouTube comments below. What is it? Very, very important tool. Test fast, fail fast, adjust fast, fail faster, succeed sooner. Step number 5, understand before you decide. Very, very critical step, because every decision of yours, whatever decision you execute, will always have some pros and cons, will always have some positives and negatives. You need to decide this, analyze this, and ensure that your pros and your positives outweighs your cons and negatives. And your pros and your positives are in sync with the step number 1, where you define the problem and stated it clearly. Once you do this, then you can execute a smart choice, then you can execute a smart decision. Because you will always have options, you will always have pros and cons for any decisions in life. You need to evaluate and understand before you take any action. Let me tell you a story. You know, the most popular form of dance in Russia, we started with Russia, you remember that Russian example? They moved from ball pen or pen to pencil, right? In this space. Russians are also very famous for their dance form, it's called ballet. So once there was a small village in Russia, and there was this girl who always had dreamt of becoming a ballet dancer. This as if she was born to be a ballet dancer. Like, she would practice, she would watch. She was always so fascinated by this ballet dancer who would perform in auditoriums, come to their village. And that time itself, she had decided that when I grow up, I will become a ballet dancer. As if there is nothing in her life. This was her single-minded focus and the only dream she had. As time passed by, she grew. And one day, she sees a poster pasted on the wall as she was walking through that village. And she says, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this. This is the topmost #1 Russian ballet dancer troupe. And they are coming to my town to perform. This is like, dream come true project here. This is like a dream come true wish." And she immediately rushed, with lot of excitement, went back to her parents and convinced them, though they did not have a lot of resources to buy tickets, but she bought the costliest ticket to experience this ballet dancing troupe, which was coming to her village to perform. She goes there, she's so excited, with a lot of excitement and thrill and joy, and, with so much of energy. She takes out her clothes, she irons them, and gets ready. She goes for the show. She sees the shows, and when the show got over, she is completely frozen. She's so mesmerized. Like, wow, what a spectacular performance. And then something happens within her. She gets up. She tells everybody else to wait there, and she finds her way dodging the security through the green room. She goes there, she knocks on the green room, tuck tuck, and yes, how may I help you? That the voice comes from the other side. She says, hey, I was so amazed, you are a band, you are a crew, you are a troupe. I have always been dreamt of, I always wanted to see your performance, your shows in our town. And this is almost like my dream coming true today. Thank you so much. And I have always dreamt of also becoming a ballet dancer. How can I be a part of your ballet dancing troupe? And the director there was like, hey, this is almost 7 o'clock right now in the evening. Why don't you do one thing? You come with your ballet dancing dress, with the ballet dancing shoes, and your music to my room at 9 o'clock. Gives her the address, 9 o'clock. Now she is like super duper ultra excited, right? This is almost like, what she wanted, she's just getting there. It is just like last, it is almost like water is at 99 degrees C and about to boil. It is almost like this, right? This is what she has dreamt of. She meets her dream ballet dancing troupe in the village. She meets the director. She asks, how can I be a part of your ballet dancing troupe? And he tells her to come for audition. So she goes back home, irons her clothes, polishes her shoes, does all the makeup, wear her nice ballet dancing, the best ballet dancing dress she had, with all the music. Now she walks, she comes to the address which the director had given. She goes to his room, knocks on the door, opens up, doors opens. Yes, how may I help you? He said, sir, you remember we met today in the auditorium, green room, and you asked me to come for audition here. So here I have come, with my ballet dancing dress, my shoes, and I have also brought in my music. Those old style 2-in-1 recorders that time. So like that, she had brought in her music, and this piece she wanted to play, called Swan Lake. She starts doing that performance. It's almost 1.5. She's so excited. And through the performance, it is not even 2 minutes. And the director said, you don't have it in you, just go home. And she says, what? He says, I already said, you don't have it in you to be a ballerina dancer, just go home. It is as if all the dreams are shattered. Whatever she has lived for, it is as if she was born for being a ballet dancer, and now she's not getting this opportunity. So all her dreams are crushed right now. With tears rolling down, she just drags whatever she has with her music, and she comes down with so much of dejection, with so much of disappointment, not able to handle her emotions. She just comes home and just packs everything so tightly and throws everything on whether it includes her dress, her shoes, her music, and throws everything on the loft she had in the house, and never ever touches that ballerina packet which she had, which included her all of this. Time passed by. Few years goes by. She grew up. She got married. She had 2 children. She moved to another city, a little bigger town now. Almost 12 years later, because she wanted to see this performance. So in St. Petersburg in Russia, she sees one day. Now she's married, has 2 kids, has full family. And as she's walking on the street, she sees another poster. And it is the same poster, the same crew, the same ballet dancing troupe which had performed 12 years back in her village. It was performing in her city. Again, with a lot of excitement, because few things are there. It was so close to her heart. So she said, I want to go, and this time I will take my entire family with me. My husband, my children, all of them I will take along with me, but I want to go and watch this show. She takes all of them, takes the ticket, buys the tickets, goes there. Again, the performance starts. Magnificent performance. As the performance gets over, something within her mind, within her head, and it is still lingering. She is not at peace. So she again finds her way to the green room, dodging the security, somehow managing it, and knocks on the door and says, do you recognize me? He says, no, who are you? He says, you remember 12 years back you had come to my village to perform, and that time you had called me for auditions. If you don't mind, I just have one question. Can you please tell me something? And the director was also old man that time. He had already become 90 plus in terms of his age. He said, what do you want to know? She asked. She said, Can you tell me one reason why you rejected me that day and told me you don't have it in you to be a ballerina dancer? Old man was a wise man. Director was a very wise man. He said, my child, like you, I get thousands of people every day, and I tell this to every day. Oh, that day I did not even see your performance. And she gets even more angry now, because now she's thinking that, without seeing my performance, you just crushed me, you just crushed my dream. How could you even do that? At least you should have seen. She says, you did not even see my performance. To which the director replies, he says, like you, I get 1,000 applications every day. And to everybody who comes for the show, for audition, I tell the same thing. You don't have it in you. He says, it's not about me, but it is about you, because you chose to believe what I said. And you chose to give up on your dreams. There will be a situations in your life, there will be a scenario in your life, there will be issues, challenges. That time, do you listen to the world around and be a part of the naysayers and just believe what they say and decide based on that? Or do you decide based on what your dream is and go on to live a life of your dream? It is not about me, my dear child, it is about you. You took the decision to believe in naysayers. Had you taken the decision to believe in your dreams, you would have become today a ballerina dancer. My dear friends, isn't it the case with our life as well? Sometimes we want to do something, but because how will people feel, कैसे सोचेंगे, लोग क्या कहेंगे, लोग जज करेंगे, उसने तो बोला कि पॉसिबल नहीं है, some other friend said कि नहीं तू तो नहीं कर सकता है. Do you give up? If that was the case, Mother Teresa wouldn't have become Mother Teresa. Nobody told Mother Teresa what she would end up becoming. Nobody told MS Dhoni what she would end up becoming. Nobody told Virat Kohli what he would end up becoming. But they all became because they believed, and they took the decision to believe in their dreams. And with a lot of persistence, hard work, they achieved what they achieved today. Very important point, my dear friends. Understand before you take any action, because once action taken, then you can always execute a counter choice, but that choice is already executed. Understand the pros and the cons. Understand whether to believe in your dreams, whether to believe in your beliefs, or whether to believe in the world, because there will be a world. We all saw it in the beginning, right? You remember? We like flowers, but they keep falling down. But we don't like weeds, but they keep growing. Like that, there will be a scenario that, a lot of things which we like, they may fall down. In that scenario, what do? Will make all the difference. And with this today's decision-making formula, if you apply it right, you will end up living a magical life. Because we learned such a powerful framework today. All the way I started with sharing some of my personal examples. Then we also looked at how your school has taken decisions to give this opportunity to all of us. Then we looked at some examples from your own life where decision making is so crucial. And then we learned that to address these issues, these challenges, these situations in life, I need to master and learn the art of decision making and make it as my superpower. And that's where we learned 5 steps. Step number 1, identify the problem and state clearly. Step number 2, research to understand the problem better from all angles. Step number 3, brainstorm possible strategies and then identify the solution. Step number 4, test solution, evolve solutions, welcoming failure as your friend. And step number 5, understand before you take action. Very, very powerful tool. So I want to give you one homework. Till we meet next, which is around 15 days time, you should go and meet the most inspirational personality you could think of. For me, it was one of the biggest dream I have always respected, cherished, and I always thought that one day if I could meet somebody like Ratan Tata, it will be a dream coming true. And I think in 2015, I had the opportunity to meet Ratan Tata and spend one-on-one 45 minutes with him in Taj Lands in Mumbai when we were discussing about investing in our company. Another inspirational personality which I have always looked up is Masayoshi Son, the founder and CEO of SoftBank Japan, who owns and runs the largest private equity venture capital firm in the world. Uh, the way he has bounced back in life, I have always been fascinated by his journey. And few years back, when he was coming to India and wanted to meet a few CEOs in the country, I happened to meet him in Delhi and have one-on-one interaction with him, Masayoshi-san. It was almost like a dream coming true. So the homework for you is, if you could think of at least one personality whom you really look up to. It could be anyone. It could be your teacher, your principals, some businessman you look up to, some social activist you really look up to, any doctors you look up to. It could be anybody. It could be your parents. It could be your sibling. It could be your cousin. But somebody whom you tremendously have huge gratitude and huge inspiration you draw from them. It should be someone like that. So you should go meet with them, spend some time. If you cannot travel, if you cannot meet, have a Zoom call with them, spend some time and learn from their journey and understand what kind of decision making framework they use. How did they made all these key decisions of life through all the twists and turns of life. So that's the homework for you. So we today had a very powerful session. I think this is one of the most powerful session which has the power to change all our lives. Decision we made in our life can define so much, because it is during those moments of decision our destiny is defined. That's why they say the decision taken yesterday defines my today, but the decision I take today will define my future, our future, this country's future. So today, my dear friends, can we take this decision, can we take this resolve that my life is my responsibility, my life is my choice, and my life is my own decision. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best.